would. But it somehow works for them, Riku.
Yeah, it's like, you know, the BO7, the full distance win conditions for Team Secret. And look at this! So much respect to Akino.
No thresh.
So this could be a potential Gragas versus Scalio matchup that we saw back in earlier and towards the playoffs.
I think there's a couple more support picks that would be really interesting in here as well. Both Aquino as well as Hamas are more than proficient on that Rakan. That's something that we could see come in. Kai'Sa is unbanned, so if either of these teams grab the Kai'Sa dive composition comp, we could very well see Zyra Rakan as an answer. But it looks like Team Secret, they are going to go with the Gragas. This will be a flex for them as well, I believe, but most likely going to Hamas. Now, this pick stood out for me yesterday. He was so impactful against Buriram, constantly finding multi-man flash engages, huge cost as well. I want to see Hamas really step up and be the supportal combat king for Team Secret if they want to win this game.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be that one of the primary engage, I suppose. And now Chewy on that range. Again, with the Gragas, it means that the Yasuo composition is still out there. Without the Vi, it can still definitely work.
That's definitely true. And I do want to point out really quickly, TF on Vi, the last time we saw him play this champion, he was popping off. I think his KD was something ridiculous, like 10-0 or something along those lines. With him running it back here today, I'm quite curious to see what Trevor has in store. Alright, Nunu is a fine answer, but keep in mind, Riven is a very slippery champion. It's going to be hard to get on top of her and hold her down with Nunu.
Yeah, they definitely need something else. And I feel like the Chain of Corruptions will be that soft answer, I suppose. You are going to anticipate SBTC to run into your face, including Kiral, with a killer instinct. So Chewy must, those are critical Chain of Corruptions to deter any aggressive play.
Definitely. He needs to be a key member of these fights, starting things out and hopefully closing things out as well for Team Secret. I do like the adaptation for this Twisted Fate. Oh my goodness. Are we finally gonna see Azar split push on Fiora? That is generally the cue. When you have Twisted Fate, you want to play to the Fiora lane. Will Azar finally stop coming to team fights and try to end the game in the side lane?
I think it's a huge possibility going up for that 4-1 split push. We've seen him perform super well on that Fiora. We saw the highlight from earlier as well, which was, again, getting that Baron steal and playing towards the late game. I am excited to see this push through because it has been a while since we've seen Tatsuri on this TF.
Yeah, definitely something to look forward to. One of the many things to do so, of course, going into Game 4 of SBTC Esports versus Team Secret. Can Team Secret begin their comeback right here, or will SBTC Esports want to take it to match point? Casters, over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Mika, and well, Team Secret have come in here with guns blazing, bringing in a team composition that I'm really much liking here, TJ. SBTC Esports doubling back with what we've seen before as we jump into this game number 4.
Yeah, I mean, SBTC have brought the same things to Battlegrounds, but last game they ran this really heavy frontline composition that was entirely reliant on Kirill's Ezreal to pump out damage. This time round, Kirill's on Kai'Sa, who does not have as much damage. So unless SBTC get an early lead onto Kirill or a dominating lead onto TF, they don't have enough damage to repeat what they did last game. And Team Secret, I think, have left the draft phase with an incredibly good composition.
Changing things up with Treble, they've built and gone back into this Nunu. It's been something they've liked going into playoffs. I think they get this in the game number 4, though. It's looking pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, we can talk about the individual elements of this. This is fundamentally the pick composition that we saw SBTC run a while ago. Lots of teams have been doing it. Tatsuri is going to be on this Twisted Fate, looking for engages across the map, especially once he hits level 5. You can expect that teleport to come in, and his main utility to the team is landing those big gold card stuns. When he lands a gold card stun, there's a ton of follow-up. Chains of Corruption from the Varus and Chewy is the easiest, most classic, but you also have Hamas on his trademark Gragas, able to open up fight with casks, and of course his body slam stun, and Trevor doing this.
Oh, misses out on the Kiba, so can't follow
Not
through
doing
with the
that.
damage.
Hopefully doing a little bit more than that.
It's an interesting start for sure. Team Secret, while they're starting to play a little bit more aggressive around the mid lane, you want to free up space for Tatsuri. Make sure that this Twisted Fate is going to be able to hit that level 5 mark quickly, start making his way around into separate lanes so that you're able to build pressure especially for Azar, who's had such a captain's performance on this Fiora in multiple games at this point.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Azar back on the Fiora. He does need to beat a Renekton, which is a, frankly, really tough lane. Just because the Renekton provides so much more utility to the teamfight, so he doesn't need to press it. The Renekton can sit kind of happy in the lane and then come down to the teamfight as long as he hasn't been blown out of lane and provide massive value, whereas the Fiora needs to have a gold advantage in order to be the real teamfight tower that Fiora can be in Wild Rift. Rather like League of Legends PC, though, worst case for Fiora, if she goes dead even in lane, she can still be a split push threat in the late game. And Team Secret have that. That's the other thing I like about their draft. Should we go to late game, they've got a ton of mobility on the map. I'm looking at the Fiora and the Nunu and the Twisted Fate. And that means they can constantly be threatening different objectives, threatening different turrets, and getting out alive.
I think that's why it was so important for them to make sure that Aquino had some kind of a global champion, to make sure that they had the Galio as well as the Ziggs, because you need to match the pressure that Tatsuri and Trevor are going to bring. Plus, Team Secret, if Azar's going to be able to go to the side lane, and you'll constantly have this looming threat of the Twisted Fate coming in, well, it makes things so complicated for Minas. Oh, it's making There's to move in onto the top side. They'll flash away from Azar. It's going to stay safe.
Yeah, he picks up the honey fruit while he can, gets reduced value out of them because he's burning. He's going to call in the backup. Here we go.
Big moves coming across. Go-Kart's already used, but flash away from Tatsuri. SBTC will get out.
Little early from Tatsuri. He arrives in lane before anyone else is in sync. Oh, down bottom.
But they win the 2v2 in the bottom side, and Team Secret will find First Blood somewhere.
Flash arrow from Chewy. On the Varus he's been so good on all tournament. He flashes forward to land an arrow onto Akino. And James even looks for more onto Kiro.
He wants this, TJ. He's looking for something here. Stepping forward.
Because, again, Kiro is so much of SBTC's damage. So if Team Secret can start dominating that lane, can turn on the Varus, use the Varus's range advantage to shut down that Kai'Sa during the early laning phase, it's really hard for SBTC to win fights in the mid game.
And it doesn't matter if Team Secret can't get First Blood topside, they're going to find it in the bottom end instead. Now, Dragon and Rift Tower both available. TF is going to set up towards the Rift Tower early. But Kino's going to make sure that Team Secret does get a free pass, getting vision around the Dragon.
Yeah, early objectives up. Both teams are going to feel equally confident fighting for them. But these are both two-team fighting compositions. SBTC, I think, do have a slight disadvantage because Kirill's been forced off a wave. But Kirill does have a ton of early damage on that Kai'Sa, so they're going to be very scary. Team Secret handshake into this. They're going to take 4 up top and take the Rift Herald. SBTC burn the Drake. Now, do they contest the Rift Herald?
They're running over quickly. Couple of ultimates still not up, specifically TF's there. Corrupting Chains comes across. Satchel Charge doesn't find much there, but they're going to go into the mid lane instead.
Yeah, and they turn for it. Look at those arrows. Julie's
damage
so
onto
low.
Julie. They're looking for something here. Might be able to just take down Aquino before he can even respond. And Tribble's still chasing after a little more. You see the chilling smite come across. Kiro's had to reposition with the killer instinct. But they've taken down the Nunu, and TF's still there. Return with the body slam. Go-Kart flies the full distance, but TF will survive.
This arrow's big.
Oh, so much damage.
He can't quite find it. I thought he might get the kill with that arrow combo. I apologize. They live on maybe 1 HP. And Team Secret, you have to be happy with that because it maintains the status quo. It's essentially an even trade there in the mid lane, and they're winning the status quo. They benefit from the systems that are in place, so there's no reason for them to be upset at a tie. But it could have been so much more. You have a couple things that go wrong here for Team Secret. First of all, everything goes right. Akino goes in forward, and you see here that Julie and Kirill just don't represent the same amount of damage that they did during game number 2. They press forward here and do offer some damage, and Trevor oversteps, underestimating Kirill's early game damage on Kai'Sa, what TF can offer on Riven. And then I really believed in Chewy, but he can't find the damage. And it looks like we're going for a round 2 here, as SBTC set up very aggressively.
Exactly, this is really interesting because Team Secret, while they're playing towards this side, but there's not much to be gained here.
Yeah, well, both these teams won a team fight. If you think you can win a team fight with these compositions, with this matchup, you should go for a team fight. That's kind of the game we're playing. So if both teams think they can win a team fight, then one of them is wrong, and we shall determine which.
I mean, TJ, SBTC, they still don't have all the ultimates up, so this could be a window that Team Secret want to try and push for.
Yeah, Team Secret are going to try and speed down the mid lane whilst they have this opportunity, but I don't think the ultimates mean too much for SBTC. I think you could see by how they were positioning that they were perfectly comfortable taking a fight, at least while they had 5. TF will be fine. The big things to watch out for as we get into this mid game, by TF, are going to be the ultimate from Hamas. If we can see some of those trademark explosive casks, Hamas single-handedly wins games on those. And also, what's Azure up to in the sideline? What does he get done while the rest of Team Secret are doing this?
I love that you highlighted this point because he's managed to generate a goal lead for himself, but like you mentioned, both of these Baron laners distant from the fight, and the fight standing down bot side. Nice dodge away, that killer instinct will get him away from the crowd control. Available for Team Secret, now they're chasing after. TS right behind, moving on the treble. It's fight on 2 fronts. Julie's gonna finish off Hamas, and they're chasing after more, but the piercing arrow will take down Aquino.
And Tatsuri steps up to the front line, still fishing, setting up for Azure
Azaz
as
here.
he comes in.
They need to back off. Azaz walking into the river, so they know they need to back off. Venus will find a little bit more damage in the mid lane during this time.
And Azure should be enough to scare Minas away. I don't think Azure has enough of a lead to fight a Renekton. Team Secret go pretty even in the trading. Come out with a lead thanks to Chewy's arrows. He's so good on the Varus. It is almost incomprehensible how much damage he's able to find. Because if you can land a Varus arrow onto a squishy backline target, you get those kills. The problem is it's really hard to land those arrows. Hello, Rift Herald. And when we get to see the arrows just positioned so perfectly, like Chewy so consistently does, it's just a real treat for the eyes.
That was Corrupted Chains expanded by Chewy, so not available for the Snake's Dragon fight.
Drake is up down bottom, but the Rift Herald up top is forcing SBTC to split their forces so they can't contest this dragon. That's because Minas had to deal with that Rift Herald that we saw making its way through the top lane rather leisurely.
But seems like SBTC will repay the favor, get the mid lane turret, and maybe looking at the second one at Baron lane as well.
Yeah, so that makes it very important that Team Secret find this turret down bottom. There's a full defense mounted by SBTC. They're going to fight for this.
Good rotation coming through from SBTC. 3 on 4. Not the best fight possible, but there we have it. Gold card locked and ready. They're jumping onto Aquino first. Good damage coming in. It's the wave clear from Julie to assist them as well, but they'll take down Aquino first. Killer instinct to the back with the Captain Rain to finish off the kill on the treble. Unable to convert it into more. Minas is flashed in, but a lockdown into Hamas to take down this Gragas.
And Kirill finds the angle during that fight, soaring into the backlines behind a very good Mega Inferno Bomb from Julie. The combination burning through Trebor's HP. And with Trebor down, they're missing a frontline bruiser on Team Secret, meaning that SBTC like their odds.
Look at these angles, TJ. He has a protractor out right now. Put it on his mobile screen. Because Kiro's found these amazing angles coming through, and well, we finally broken that status quo, TJ. SBTC Esports, they've generated a small lead for themselves.
Yeah, they step up and force some very favorable fights. And we see something happen twice there, where SBTC really benefit from Julie's Mega Inferno Bomb. It happened during the earlier fight that they technically lost, but only technically. He's getting such good damage out of those ultimates, but also he's built the Oblivion Orb, and I think that's important to flag. I'm going to flag 2 of his items here, actually. The Oblivion Orb really important because every time he lands a Mega Inferno Bomb on 5 people, those 5 people don't get to heal for the next couple of seconds, which is very impactful if you're a frontline bruiser that thinks you're going to be able to regen and survive these fights. The other thing I want to tag is he's running Luden's Echo, which is why those Mega Inferno Bombs are doing so much damage, because as the first spell that he's casting in team fights, the Luden's Echo is buffing them up to do massive damage.
DJ did out on the bot side. They're trying to pick up this turret, but SBTC have moved on to the Baron.
Hazard, does he know? They do now. The Twisted Fate ultimate from Tatsuri lights up the battlefield. Here we go.
But it's down to 2,000. They need to finish this one off quickly. We'll go over to SBTC. They're turning the fight around. Treble is there. Kiro jumped into the back lines, but he's looking low. Has to flash, still falls, but they've taken down 2 as well. TF joins back into the fight. Aquino's buying time, but Aquino is going to go down. Azar hot on his tail. It's 2 versus 2, but SBTC have stolen that Baron away.
Very well played by Team Secret to limit the number of Baron buffs on the map. And I love James' movement at the very end of that fight, turning away from the low HP Trevor towards Azur, because he knows if there's a way that they stabilize the fight, it's through the Fiora, who has more damage, who has more teamfight presence in the 2-on-2s, the 1-on-1s. Very well played by Team Secret from what could have been a disastrous scenario, but you still get this for SBTC, and check out what Kirol does, spotting an angle here, and for I think the 3rd time in a row, getting into the backlines and finding a kill. Even though it's traded out by very good AD carry play from Chewy, it still continues to bode poorly for Team Secret as that Kai'Sa gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
And such a difficult fight for Secret once Chewy is dead. Even if you take down Kiro, you still have a little bit more damage with TF there. But once Chewy's gone, well, a lot of that front-loaded safe damage that they have afforded for them is gone. SBTC gonna siege down the bottom side here, but look at this. The 3 members sieging this don't have Baron buff, but it doesn't matter because you have a Ziggs.
Yeah, and the Ziggs can just burn through turrets here. It's the Destiny, though. We're gonna
try and
find.
punish this. Teleport coming in to try and match the play. Minas joins in. He's gonna jump onto Tatsuri first. Chewy a little bit far away, but he has the corrupting chains across. Looking low, they try and reset the fight. Kiro facing off against Treble, taking down Azar with the Captain Rain. They've cleaned up Secret for a triple kill on the side of TF.
For an aces, SBTC turn the fight, and they might end the game here. They will
Send
end the
it,
game
TJ.
here. 19 seconds, that's it.
Send it, TJ, all the way down into the next as SBTC will move on to win 3 games in a row and find themselves way ahead in the series.
That's wild. They're now 1 game away from match point. This will be match point. If they win 1 more, SBTC are your tournament champions, the SEA champions, as they demolish with a teamfight composition that needed Kirol to get ahead, that needed extra gold onto TF, and that's exactly what they achieved. Kirol blows up these teamfights time and time again and gets enough of a gold lead that the mid-game Kai'Sa spike is redoubled, and it's the Riven coming through big, cleaning up those messy teamfights in the middle of a poke composition that doesn't have a defined front line.
Absolutely. It seems like SBTC has figured out very well what they need to get done. And any initial doubts we had with the draft, well, they made up for it and showed us a masterful showing on how to play it out. With that being said, SBTC Esports 3-1. And after this break, the rest of this series